So in this video, we're going to take a look at Module 53, which is a little bit about profit maximization in the Krugman textbook. So the check your understanding question number 1 says, suppose that a firm can sell as many units as output as it wants for 15 per unit and faces total costs as indicated in the table below. Use the optimal output rule, or the maximum kind of profit maximizing rule, to determine the profit maximizing level of output for the firm. So if it sells price of 15, if price equals 15, then that's what MR equals. Right? We know that price and marginal revenue are the same for a perfectly competitive firm. And that tells us it can sell as many of output as it wants. So we know that the 15 is the marginal revenue. So we're looking for where MR equals MC at what quantity. And we can look in the first one and find that the marginal cost of the first unit is 8. That's because it's the distance between 2 and 10. And the marginal cost of the second one is 10. So that's still below the marginal revenue. The marginal revenue of the third one is 13. And the marginal revenue of the marginal cost of the third one is 13. And the marginal cost of the fourth one is 17. And so the fourth one, the marginal cost exceeds that marginal revenue value, the marginal cost being 17. So we would produce quantity equals 3 because MR is greater than MC without going over, okay? Because that's the last one where that would be true. Now number 2 says, use the data to graph the firm's marginal cost and marginal revenue curves and show the profit maximizing level of output. So this one we're going to do a little graph over here on the right, price, quantity, and we know that there are 5 quantities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the maximum it looks like for, I'm looking at marginal cost here, the marginal cost that we said already of the fourth unit is 17, and the marginal cost of the fifth unit is 21. And it looks like the lowest marginal cost was 8. So we're just going to say that this is like roughly 10 here, and we're going to say this is about 15, and that's about 20. And so we know that like there's a 21 right up here, and there's an 8 right here. So we kind of know those. So the first thing to observe is that the price is at 15. So the marginal revenue curve is just straight across at 15. Marginal revenue equals the price equals 15. And then the first marginal cost dot is going to go at here. In between, it's best actually to do these in between because it's the additional cost of that unit. So to say it's here, okay? And it's because it's the additional cost of that unit is actually why we're going to do that. For the second unit, the marginal cost, it looks like, is going to be $10 because that's from 10 to 20. And so the second unit about here, right, we're just kind of looking dotted line over there. The third unit, right, is going to generate essentially 13 is what it looks like. So it's going to be about here. And then that fourth unit leads to 17, so that's probably right about, no, that's not even close to there, it's probably right there. So we'll say right about here. And then that last unit generates the 21, and so that one's going to be way over here. So we kind of connect the dots here, and we just draw that upward sloping line, and we find that, in fact, yes, that's the quantity that they should be producing at. Good. This is probably should be a dotted line. Make that a dotted line. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at some of these multiple choice questions here. Use the data to provide it to answer questions 1 through 3, and then we give some other ones here. So number 1 says, what's the marginal revenue of the third unit of output? So the third unit is the change from 36 to 54. So 54 minus 36 is equal to 18. So that is C. Okay. Number 2, the marginal cost of the first unit, so that's the change from 14 to 30. So 30 minus 14 is 16, and that is C. Oh, that again, 2 C's in a row. Number 3, at what level of output is profit maximized? So here we're looking for where MR is greater than or equal to MC. So at what quantity? So I'm just kind of looking down here, and I'm noticing that the fourth unit gives a marginal revenue of 18. So we already, that's the 18. Yeah, so there's 18 that come out of that fourth one. it looks like there's 18 that come out of all of them. Okay, so there's 18 that come out of all of them. And the total cost, we're looking for where it's not greater than, the marginal cost is not greater than 18. So I'm looking kind of at the third, fourth one. So between the third and the fourth unit costs 12. So we'd still produce the fourth. The fifth unit costs 16. So we'd still produce the fifth. The sixth unit costs 20. And we know that because 92 minus 72 is 20. So we don't produce the sixth, we produce the fifth unit. And that's D. Number 4. A firm should continue to produce in the long run if its economic profit, that's really the key for firms, is 0 or greater than 0, and so that answer is E. And number 5, a firm earns a normal profit when its total revenue equals its total cost, is what we would say here. C. I will say that I like E. I also like E. And the reason that I like E on this one is it says economic profit equals its total explicit and implicit costs. I think the reason that this module, this textbook is saying that's not the right answer is because they want you to remember that economic profit would also take into consideration depreciation. Depreciation is not a major portion of the AP Economics curriculum, so I could see myself answering E if I were in your shoes as well, but C is technically the correct answer. So let's take a look now at FRQ number 2. FRQ number 2. All right, here, use a graph to illustrate the typical shape of the two curves used to find a firm's profit maximizing level of output on the basis of the optimal output rule. So we know that that's going to be finding where MR equals MC, so we need a graph of this and a graph of this. So we actually kind of handily have one right here above us. That's kind of nice. So we'll do this, and over, quantity, price, and we just go wee, like that. Marginal cost, you have to make that noise, and then you draw a line over here that's supposed to be a straight line, MR, and we know that that's equal to the price, like P star, or whatever that price is. Assume all units of output can be sold for 5, so this actually should say 5, and indicate the profit maximizing level of output with a Q star on the appropriate axis. Okay, Q star, because that's the point where MR equals MC. Yay! All right, so hopefully that one wasn't too painful, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.